Let's have a look at time shenanigans in this edition of...
Yeah, it's the best five, worst five, no one has seen. Yeah, it's the best five, worst five Trek's ever seen.
Time travel and anomalies have presented us with all sorts of good times and poor choice of scripts across the Star Trek franchise. As always, starting with the fifth worst time travel plot, the pilot that wasn't. Assignment Earth is one of the most baffling uses of time travel in the franchise. It's just a casual thing that the Enterprise did for funsies and historical research before the episode began. While this was Gene Roddenberry's attempt at a backdoor pilot into a secret agent drama, the bits of this that are Star Trek with Kirk and Spock and the Enterprise trying to stop Gary 7 are literally getting in the way of the start of a decent 60s secret agent show. I don't think the episode itself is bad, but its casual use of time travel lands it here. Number 4. Twain Goes to the Future. In a season cliffhanger that's only real contribution over 2 episodes is the beginning of Picard and Guinan's friendship, this Old West romp seems to be an attempt at getting a few more uses out of the Old West nostalgia after the genre was already well dead by the early 90s. Specifically, Samuel Clemens following the main cast to the Enterprise and then being returned to the 19th century would have been more interesting if it had been set in a time when he was younger, and then that would have explained some of his writings and eccentricities. Way too much filler for this to be an interesting time travel plot. Number 3. The Alexander Paradox. In an episode that just shouldn't have been, an older version of Alexander goes back in time to kill his younger self, and then doesn't. Well, it asks the age-old question of what happens if I kill my past self. We didn't get to an answer, and the whole concept of trying to kill a kid is bad form, Star Trek. Bad form. Number 2. Double the Picard. Time travel plots are usually exciting, even when the subject matter is dull. This one is just boredom wrapped in a soggy tortilla of missed opportunity. The Enterprise encounters one of their own shuttle pods with a second Captain Picard from a few hours in the future. His out-of-time version is a mess till he starts coming into sync with the time he left the ship before it was destroyed. Thankfully, this iteration of Picard closes the time loop when he kills his future self in the present. Now for the worst time travel plot. Kess comes back. When Denise Crosby came back in TNG in somewhat of a bid to redeem the badly written Tasha Yar, it was a good way to give the actress a new life in the franchise. Meanwhile, the oftentimes badly written Kess comes back years after her departure for the writers to add a badly written time travel plot to the character's story arc. The term character assassination gets thrown around for all kinds of Trek characters, but this is the worst of it. Time travel because magic, and the completely unnecessary return of Kess earn this the worst spot in time travel history. Flipping over to the 5th best time travel plot, Time Police. When Seven and subsequently Janeway are recruited by the Federation temporal agents from the 31st century, it sets up a nice use of time paradoxes, with the big reveal that it was our old friend Captain Braxton from his future that's mad at Janeway for destroying his career. Kathy herself says she hoped she'd never get caught up in the turbulence of temporal mechanics, and now Braxton's trying to destroy Voyager for things that are really no fault of hers. This zany time chase is a solid temporal watch. Number 4. GTA Trek. This episode is a lot of the almost bests. It's almost the best time travel episode, it's almost the best episode that goes back to or near the date of the show, but it is the best use of recurring Trek actor Leland Orser in the franchise. In another entry initiated by the 31st Century Time Police, Archer and the skeptical that time travel is possible to Paul go back to the mid-2000s Earth to stop the Xindi from wiping out the population through time. While the time travel itself isn't flashy or involved, the script feels like it was a cut quest from Grand Theft Auto, which somehow really works when coupled with some sci-fi convenience. Number 3. Broken Time. It only took 7 seasons to finally give Robert Beltran a solid episode that revolves around his character. An accident in engineering causes different parts of the ship to be out of temporal sync, and after the Doctor gives Chakotay a time serum, he's the only one able to pass between the time displacements. When he recruits Janeway from before they left the Alpha Quadrant and eventually enlists her help, it sets up callbacks to many of Voyager's past troubles, and the out-of-time dynamic between the two makes this a compelling watch in the time continuum. Number 2. Mudd's Time. Welcome to the most over-the-top entry to time travel in Trek, and it really works. In what might be the best episode of Discovery to date, the infamous Harry Mudd comes back in a time loop to learn what the secrets of Discovery are. Stamets, due to his tardigrade DNA, exists outside of time and re-enlists the help of crew members to try to stop him, as the ship is blown up over and over. You wouldn't think you could laugh so hard at a time displacement episode where the captain and crew keep dying. The best time travel Trek? Sanctuary is not enough. In one of the darkest yet most poignant misadventures in time travel, Sisko, Bashir, and Dax end up unconscious in 2024 San Francisco while trying to beam down to Starfleet headquarters. It shows the stark difference between a media elite that shows pity on Jadzia and the local sanctuary police that arrest Ben and Julian without ID. This is a message from the mid-90s where it looked like we were pushing past these problems, and this was Star Trek's way of diverging into the World War III we know comes in the Trek timeline. Unfortunately, this message is more important in 2022 as we approach the date the Sisko and his genetically modified friend come for a not-so-pleasant visit. All you have to do is not treat people like animals. Be kind to others, and what's your favorite time travel plot in Trek?